Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode in the $5 Thrift Challenge series. This challenge, I started with $5 in my pocket, went to a thrift store, bought one item, resold that item for some cash online on eBay. I sell on Depop, I sell on Poshmark, and I use that profit to buy a few more items. And I've been doing that over and over again, snowballing the amount of money I started with until we're at the point today where we have over $5,000 I have made in profit with just a single $5 investment. I have done all this while still running my full-time reselling business and moving across the country, moving houses, going through Christmas. It's been a wild journey, but we have had so much fun along the way. And I have quite a few things to share with you today that I've sold from the things that I picked up in this challenge that you guys have seen me haul. Here we go. We're going to jump into this installment in this series, but if you're just starting here, you can do that too. The end of last week's episode, we ended with $5,548.21 in our challenge bank. That is all profit that we have made. That has already anything I've ever bought, the money has already been taken out. So that is all we have right now in profit. Now, the first thing that sold since I saw you guys last week is the new Tags Athleta, the Sea Soft set that I picked up at the half off day Goodwill. So I think I bought the set for $10 for both pieces. It's sold for $55. From $55 on eBay, we make $48.78 heading into the challenge bank. Next up, I sold the Dagny Dover bag. Oh my goodness. I was so grateful that this sold quickly. If you guys watched that episode, I bought this bag for $40. I thought it was $10, but it was $40. Misread that label, but I did sell it within the first week of me listing it for $90. So I could have made more money, and we made $72 from that $90 heading into the challenge bank. So we made $32 in a few days off of that. So it was worth it. Was scary though. I don't like to pay up that much for my cost of goods usually. Next up, we sold the Bowden Ava scalloped top. It sold for $18. We make $14.40 heading into the challenge bank. Then I sold the Dry Fire flame resistant top. I picked this up back when we still lived in Indianapolis. That just means I've had this top for a while. It did not sell quickly, but it did finally sell for $18. From $18, make $16.37 heading into the challenge bank. Then I just picked these up not too long ago. I found a pair of Birkenstock, the Giza sandals in the bins. So I paid $3.50 for these sandals in the bins, and they sold on an offer on Poshmark for $40. And that sold within the first few days I had them listed. So I thought that was definitely a win. We are in the right season to sell things like this. And some people think that Birkenstocks, even if they look worn, can't be sold, but I sold these for $40. They were in really good shape, but still, you can still make some good money off of Birkenstocks. So from $40, make $32 heading into the challenge bank. Then I sold the Lululemon Align Capri leggings. These sold for $20. They offered me $20 on Poshmark. I actually ran these in my Whatnot show last week, and nobody bought them. Praise God, because I forgot to take them off of my reselling platforms. But because of that, I was able to sell them for more money than I probably would have sold them for in my Whatnot show. So they sold for $20. We make $16 heading into our challenge bank from those leggings. And I found those in the bin. So they probably cost me around $1. Then I had to wash and clean this. And so it took me a little bit to get it listed. But the Disney Princess, that pink kids bomber jacket with the embroidered Cinderella and Snow White and Belle on the back. So cute. It sold on Depop. I listed it and it sold within one day for $39. I listed it at $50, but on Depop, I accepted that offer because I retain a lot more money. If I sold that same jacket for $50 on Poshmark, I would only make $40. So I made almost the same amount as a $50 sale, but because it was on Depop, I made more. So it sold for $39, make $36.85 heading into the challenge bank. And that was such a cute piece. Then I sold the Quince Tencel dress. It sold for $32. And I think that this sold on Poshmark. And from $32, we make $25.60. That was another Goodwill half off pickup. So that was like $3.75, I think. And then it turned into $32. So about 10xing the money. I've listed almost everything from last week's video at this point, and some of the pieces sold very quickly. Yesterday, I listed this Eileen Fisher, the silk tank top that I found on the new rack at the Goodwill last week, and somebody bought it today for $36. So from $36, make $28.80. I did pay up for this. I think it was like $7 or something wild, but we spent $8 on it, and I still made $20 within a day. So I find that to be worth it. Then I sold the Narciso Rodriguez Zara dress. I picked this up at another half off Goodwill day for $3.75. This sold for $50 on eBay. From $50, make $43.45 heading into the challenge bank. And then the very last sale, I thought this was going to be a really bad week of sales, but I actually sold quite a bit, and that's so exciting. I really felt like when I was in India and I'd taken care of Jeremy's grandpa, I didn't know if I'd get any sales this week, but we really did, so I'm proud. But the Cabana Life, that tiered maxi dress, I had a lot of interest in that. I don't think it actually sold to a viewer, but it did sell for $46.49 on eBay. They sent me that offer, and then from that, we make $41.35 after fees and shipping and all of that. So that brings our challenge bank at the beginning of today's video to $5,923.81, which is amazing. We're so close to $6,000, which means we'll be 60% of the way through this challenge. And I feel like we are getting to the point where the numbers are just getting bigger and bigger, quicker and quicker. So I think we are in the tail end of this challenge, which is so crazy. That is where we're starting today's episode, and we have some fun plans. I actually went to a 90% off sale the other day, and it was really a wild time. I live in the Grosse Pointe area of Detroit, and there's a little like neighborhood thrift store near me, and I saw a 70% off sale in the window. So I went there at like 4 o'clock and the place was closed. I saw that it said on the window that they were going to start a 90% off sale the next day. So I woke up early, I got there, got in line when it opened, and I went in, but it was the smallest thrift store in the world. And I did try to get some video footage, but it was pretty difficult. So I have a little bit of footage to share with you guys, but I do have a massive haul because I went really hard and it was an amazing thrifting time. Very overpriced, I would say, but for 90% off, right in my wheelhouse. So let's go show you guys those clips that I was able to get, and then I'll show you guys everything I picked up when we get back here. So we made it to the thrift store, and it's a really small store, and there was just so many people in here. It was really hard to film, but I did find that Beach Riot little pullover, and I have sold Beach Riot in this challenge even a few weeks ago, and it sold for good money pretty quickly, so I decided to pick that up. It's perfect timing for the spring and summer, but along here, there's like a Banana Republic sweater, styling coat. There's just a lot of brands that are kind of from like Kohl's or Macy's, like Eddie Bauer, Target. So not a lot of like super high quality items, but there are some gems really just kind of tucked away and hidden in here. And you'll see me grab a few of them here with you. But I did grab that piece, and this right here is a soft surroundings little top, and if this was maybe embroidered I would have grabbed it, but it just was too like plain. But something that I was super excited to find was this Double D Ranch top. This is my first time ever finding Double D Ranch, an amazing brand, but as you can see here I automatically noticed there's like 5 buttonholes down the front and no buttons, so somebody maybe broke them all off. Very confusing, but because it was 90% off, I'm still gonna grab it, and then it'll be a project piece, but I have buttons that I can use at home, so I'll show you guys how that turns out later. Then this Franken Oak little top was a tencel and linen blend. It was beautiful. I decided to grab it. And next to it was this Joie top, which is also like a wool blend. So I am pretty picky with Joie. It's really expensive, but it doesn't resell usually for a ton of money for me. But because of the fabric makeup, I think I'm gonna grab that one too. And so there are some really nice pieces tucked in here, and a lot of the prices, at least for tops, were around $7, $8, which is really reasonable, especially a 90% off day. This top, $8, but it's 100% silk, and it's this really beautiful pink, although it looks kind of orange on camera, but it's this pink top, really cute, really high quality. And so I was finding some nice high quality pieces hidden amongst all of the other pieces as well. But as you can see, there's a lot of pieces that are just kind of like so-so, or things I would not usually grab. And then I did find this pair of leather pants over here, and I really thought I was gonna buy them. These are vintage Wilson's leather pants, so cool. I'm glad I really inspected these because the hem of these, somebody had tried hemming themselves with like tape, like masking tape, and it was really, really bad. It was really shoddy, so I'm glad I inspected them. This really cool vintage Disney sweatshirt came home with me, but I'll show you guys everything I got when we get back home. Okay, friends, we're back home. Now, I assumed correctly that because this was such a small store, they probably wouldn't have carts. I think, did they even have baskets? They might have had baskets. So I came prepared. I took the Hulken with me, and this thing is bursting. I filled this thing. This is no small feat, my friends. Going thrifting there, I was probably there for 2 hours, almost 2.5 hours, and I went through everything, I think. Probably missed some home goods, but I went through all the clothing in that time. So pretty small store. And all of the clothing was 90% off. All the clothing, all of the shoes, 90% off. And then I think bags and accessories were maybe 75% off. So I paid a little bit for a few accessories. I got 3 wallets. I didn't buy any purses. So let's start with the piece that I had to have my mom help me sew. The reason why we were waiting for this haul is because I needed to fix this. My parents came and helped us do our bathroom remodel that I showed you guys pictures of. And then I was traveling. So anyways, long story short, we are showing you what I got, but I am so excited about this piece right here. Now, if you do not know this brand, this is your public service announcement. I am doing you a service here. This is a heck of a bolo brand. Now, this is what the tag looks like. It's Double D Ranch. This is my first time ever finding this brand, and it's definitely a doozy. This is so expensive. I don't know why, but it is. This, when I found it, had no buttons on it. So it had the little poles. You could tell that it used to have 5 buttons on it, and they were just all missing. So there was just this little closure up here. There's this tiny little snap that was keeping it closed. And because of that, I think that's why it made it to the 90% off sale, because it went through 70% off too. It was $8. So 80 cents is what I spent for this. And then maybe a year ago in an estate sale, I thrifted this really cool vintage full sewing set, like the sewing kit that had so much in it, so many vintage pieces in that sewing kit. And I got that for $10. So in that though, I have tons of vintage buttons, like tons of sets of old buttons. So I already had buttons that kind of matched the vibe of Double D Ranch, and I had my mom help me sew them on. They fit perfectly, and they really do fit the vibe. It's very much so like more of like a gaudy kind of button on most of the pieces I saw from this brand. Anyways, 80 cents, and Double D Ranch can resell for $200 to $300. Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true stuff right there. So at least $100 for this, and I spent 80 cents. I'm so excited about this. So this is a size small, very cute. It's black velvet, very, very exciting. So jazzed about that. Of course, I went through all of the tops. I actually started, my goal was to go straight to the boutique section if they had one. I'd never been in while it was open before, so I really had no idea where I was walking in. And I happened to walk in through the door and the boutique section was right in front of me, so I flew through that rack, and you'll see some pieces from that here in a second. But then I also went to all the tops and did all these other places too. But this is a vintage Disney sweatshirt, which I thought was really cool. So it says the soap opera Beastress from Disney's California Adventure, but I know it's vintage based off of the tag. I have sold many different Disney tags, and this one is a vintage one. Disneyland Resort, and this is, let's see, made in the USA, size small. So definitely actually a pretty good size for a size small, like definitely really actually like a men's size small sweatshirt. It doesn't look like it's been worn a ton because it's not shrunk at all, but this was $4, so I paid 40 cents for this. And this is where your girl's thrifty dreams come true, when everything is like less than $1. That's exciting. So I should say, I felt like things were overpriced, but it wasn't for more of those like normal pieces. I would say their boutique section is really where I was like, you're asking how much for this piece? Like this. I found this in the boutique section. This is a nice dress though. It's a beautiful blue, I would say probably around knee length dress, and it's from Lafayette 148, which is a nicer, like mature brand. I enjoy selling it, and it does usually pretty well for me. It's a size 4. This was $65 there. So that's kind of where I feel like the divide is. If they think it's nice, they mark it up. It's a size 4, so I paid $6.50. I feel like $6.50 for a dress of this sort is definitely reasonable. $7 for a thrifted dress is what I pay at normal thrift stores, and so that's why I decided to grab her. I think the pleats on the skirt are really pretty, and I feel like this has to be wool of some sort. It's 100% wool, so it's a beautiful blue dress. Perfect for office wear or going to church or something formal. And I do think that online I can maybe get around $50 to $65, but it's a lot to ask for in a small boutique like that. So from that boutique rack, I got that Lafayette 148 dress. But the first thing that I found at the end of the rack that I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a good thrift day, were these 2 pairs of a Goldie leather pants. Whew, it's so good. So there is the Goldie logo if you don't know it, but I'm assuming you might have heard of it. These, I would say, are like a straight leg pair of leather pants. This is the only thing about these that is not ideal is that they're a small size. Other than that, to find leather pants is always a win in my book. I sell vintage leather pants all the time that I find in the bins for 50 bucks. So to find a name brand pair of leather pants is great. These are a size 23, which is small, but I still think can be good. These were also marked at $65, but I got them for $6.50. $6.50, totally reasonable, at least in my area, for a Goodwill or like a thrift store price. That's totally reasonable. So I decided to grab them, but these are also made in the USA, and they are made with 50% recycled leather, 30% polyurethane, 10% viscose, and 10% polyester. So they're made with mostly recycled leather, which I think is really cool. But a pair in black for $6.50, I didn't even look at comps. I just knew that to find a Goldie pants in general is usually gonna be good, but leather as well is exciting. And I didn't have a ton of time to look up comps while I was in the store. And I also found the same pair in white leather, which these ones have some things on them, like some, not scuffs, but more so like there's a little bit of marking on these. I decided to still grab them even though they had, specifically it looks almost like an ink mark on this leg. If you guys have any tips for cleaning leather like this, I was thinking about just going in with maybe even a magic eraser on it. I don't know if that's a crazy idea. If that is, maybe I'll just do some sudsy water with a toothbrush. I feel like that would do the trick as well. But same exact pair of pants. So a Goldie, these are also a size 23 and they were $65. So I paid $6.50 for those. I would expect each pair to sell for over $50, which makes this a really good haul so far. Did I even tell you how much I spent? I don't think I did. In total, I spent $102.21 on everything. And I feel like that's so reasonable. If I would not have been there on 90% off day, that would have been $1,000 worth of clothing that they were asking for all these pieces, which I do feel like is a little too high. A little too high in my opinion. So let's subtract that from the challenge bank and let's see what else I grabbed. So, okay, this is upside down. But this is another example. I went through all of their formal dresses. They had a lot of formal dresses, and where I live, there are a lot of like older, wealthy people. And so I do feel like they, you know, have galas and events to go to, and then they donate their pieces, which, I mean, at least they're donating them. This was $45. This is from Aiden by Aiden Maddox. But I thought that this style was really fun. It has a really fun sequin skirt. It's a blouse-on style with a little cutout on the sleeves here, silky top. But I have sold Aiden Maddox for good money in the past, and so I decided for $4.50, for $5, less than $5, definitely worth it. Definitely worth it to give it a try at the very least. I do really love selling formal dresses. Selling any sort of like even more business casual to formal dress does really well for me. I've been selling a lot of formal dresses lately, so I think that will be excellent to add into the mix, and I'll probably list around $50. It might be more depending on comps, but y'all know me, I am flying off the seat of my pants. I find based on instinct, and then I'm usually pretty accurate with my comps when I'm going through here. But if I'm ever really off, I'll put something on the screen. And this is just such a full bag. My Hulken is bursting. Okay, I picked up this Eileen Fisher piece because it was new at tags. I wish this was not an extra, extra small. If this was a size extra large, it would be sold tomorrow, I promise you. But for it being an extra, extra small, it looks to me like a size medium. This is definitely oversized, but it is new at tags from Eileen Fisher. This is the round neck tunic top in hemlock green. It was $48, so I paid $5 for this, $4.80. And it retails for $158. So even if I can get $35 to $50 out of this, I do think it's a great color. I think that should do really well. And I didn't show you the Eileen Fisher tag, but I'm hoping you guys know it at this point, especially since we had an Eileen Fisher piece sell last week. You guys saw me pick up that silk tank top, and that sold within one day. So I think new at tags. That silk tank top sold for $36, so we're gonna hope for at least $40 from that piece. Okay, I'm just like trying to pull out of this bag. This piece is from Leon Max, which I have found one Leon Max pair of shoes in the past, picked them up, and I don't know if I even ever listed them. They're probably hiding in a bin somewhere. But I grabbed this based on style and fabric. So this is this really like ethereal, really lightweight silk top. So it's 100% silk. I like that it has the sheer sleeves and this ruffle at the neckline. I just thought that this could do really well based on style alone. And what, this was $24, of course, but it was $2.40 for me. It says limited edition, 100% silk, and it's a size extra small. So again, this looks like a size small could wear it too, but I do think that purple is having a real moment where it's really a hard color to thrift. I don't find it that often. And so people are really usually looking for purple because it is a very flattering and fun color. So I'm in that formal dress section, obviously. I have to look to see if I can find a bridesmaid dress. And indeed, I found this new at Tags birdie gray dress. It's, the style name is Moni, M-O-N-I, size extra small in Cabernet, but it's this little halter, full length gown, new at Tags. That's exactly what we were looking for. These bridesmaid dresses will sell for me around 50 bucks, and this was $28. So I spent $2.80 for this birdie gray dress. Now, of the kind of bridesmaid lines like Azazi, birdie gray, Amsail, Beholden, of these, I would say birdie gray is my least favorite to resell. It just doesn't usually sell for as much as Azazi does for me. I just feel like Azazi might be used more, but it still will do well, especially if it's new at Tags. Now, I did grab this piece, and I have recently learned that Frank and Oak, I think, is no longer around. I think they might have gone out of business. I'm not sure when, although it probably had to do in 2020 is my guess. But I did find this orange little button-down shirt, and I thought this was so nice. And Frank and Oak does tend to still do okay for me, and this was only $7. So I spent 70 cents on this. It's in a size small, but I also thought that I could do some of these pieces too in my Whatnot show coming up, like especially if they would be good for just somebody to grab and wear for themselves. But this is really nice. It's 70% Tencel lyocell and 30% linen. So great fabric makeup, really good for the summer too. Very like lagging look, and kind of, it reminds me a lot of Frank and Eileen as well. So for 70 cents, I think I can resell that for at least $35. And then I did grab this J. Jill cardigan, and I've sold many J. Jill pieces in this thrift challenge, and I like to pick them up, especially if they have really good fabric makeup. I don't know if you guys can tell from how thin this knit is. This is 55% linen and 45% viscose, so a linen blend, mostly linen, longer navy cardigan with pockets from J. Jill. I did think, okay, I've sold many of these for 35 to 40 bucks. This is a size small petite. It was $8, and so I spent 80 cents on this piece, and there is the price tag for that one. So again, a lot of my cost of goods for these were $1 or less, which I am very happy about. This is so cute. I love this. This was from LL Bean. It's a men's size, let's see. It's a men's size medium, made in the USA. It looks like it's vintage LL Bean to me. Is this not like the most comfy, cozy looking sweater? I think this would be so cute on a girl. Even like, I think that I haven't had my color analysis done, but I feel like I'm in autumn, and I feel like this would be really cute on me. I don't need it. I really need to declutter my closet, but for 80 cents, I thought this was amazing. It's 97% cotton, and it's a really nice chunky knit. I assume there's a mirror right here. I assume I can sell this for at least 40 bucks. That is a cool find, again, for less than $1. I grabbed this specifically to put in my Whatnot show, my next one, because I do feel like it's a perfect style for Whatnot. Look how cute this little sweater is. I love the nautical stripes with this contrast collar. It's so adorable. It's actually a zip up. It's actually a zip up collar, so you can adjust it. If this was in my size, I would be keeping it. It's from Lou & Grey. It's in a size medium. And I really do like Lou & Grey and Ann Taylor and Loft. I just feel like it's oversaturated. Lou & Grey, though, I feel like is maybe my favorite of all of these. But it's a size medium. It was $8. So I spent 80 cents on this bad boy, and I assume that she will sell really well in that Whatnot show. So I'm gonna put her to the other side of the room, so don't forget to put her in the show. And again, I was looking for high quality fabrics, and I definitely did mistake this for Spell and the Gypsy when I found it. It is this pink kind of ombre looking piece. I saw that the tag said Gypsy, and I was like, oh yeah, they shortened their name. And I totally forgot they shortened their name to just Spell, not Gypsy. It was $8, so I paid 80 cents for this, but I'm fairly confident that this is silk. But yeah, this is 100% silk though, so I thought even just for it being a beautiful silk blouse, I do think this would sell well, but I do think that's a great piece to put in my Whatnot show as well. Nice fabric. and maybe a harder brand for me to pinpoint on eBay or something like that. I also found this spiritual gangster top. This is more of like, I would say like a satin bomber jacket, and then it says Dreamer on the back. It's a size extra small, and this is the spiritual gangster tag. Some pieces from this brand do really well. It's been a while since I've sold it though. This was $15, which feels like a lot to ask at a thrift store, but I paid $1.50 for it. That would also be a really good whatnot piece though, so I'll be putting up on the screen when my next show is. I know things have gone a little tipsy-turvy because we had to go travel for a week, and so I'll get back in the swing of things here in a second. Then we have this top, which I've actually sold this exact top before, I think for $25 or $35. It is this little sweater with these fun little kind of blouse sleeves at the end here. It's from Aerie and Allie, which is sold at Anthropologie. This was $7, so I paid 70 cents, size medium. I did pick that up specifically to put in whatnot because I do think somebody would love an Anthropologie piece for cheap. And then I didn't really look through the legging section because most everyone was in the legging section. I don't know why, but I avoided it. So I happened to be checking a comp like on the end of a row, and I just looked over and saw these leggings. And the only thing I saw was this little logo right here, and I knew what it was. And I was like, wow. It's like my brand knowledge is finally paying off for something. This is exciting. These are from Varley, which Varley is expensive. I've never found a pair of leggings from them, so I'm excited to see how they do. But these are actually new without tags from Varley, and you can see the Varley name on them here. They're in a size extra small, and I do believe that these should hopefully sell for at least $25, $35, and I paid 70 cents because they were $7. So they have a lot of interesting holes along them, but I like Varley. I thought, okay, let's grab it, see what we can get for it. I also obviously spent some time in the suit section because you never know when you're gonna find a great suit. So this is a suit set for women. So this was $24. I paid $2.40 for both pieces. It's from Brooks Brothers. It's 100% wool. So here is the top, here is the blazer. It's a size 10. I love that it's long. I think that's absolutely stunning. And it's a skirt set. So here is the bottom. I love that it's in a size 10. I love anything usually a size 10 and up. Does a little bit better for me. They're both a size 10 and both 100% wool. So here is the tag 346 Brooks Brothers, and then all of the information is underneath there. But for $2.40, I felt like that was definitely worth it. For the set together, the last time I sold a skirt suit set, I think I sold it for like $80. So I'm hoping for maybe $75 for that set. And then I like grabbed one men's suit piece. I just found this top, but it's a nice, I would say black suit jacket. And this is also from Brooks Brothers, but this one is a men's piece. And I've sold a lot of Brooks Brothers suits for good money. I haven't sold a lot of the 346 by Brooks Brothers. I think that might be a little bit lower of a line, but for $2.40, I still thought this was worth it. It is 96% wool, made in Jordan. So hopefully 50 bucks for that piece. Okay, we made it to the first bag I can pull out of the Hulken. Y'all, I am not joking when I say that I went a little hard at this place. Okay, jewel down. I keep on losing jewels and I don't want to. This was one of my best finds of the day probably. Let me show you it. It is this full-on sequin sparkle formal dress. It's longer in the back than in the front, so kind of like a high-low situation. It is stunning. This is how you attract some attention of some seagulls, for sure. It definitely has some sequins that have come off, some jewels that were probably missing, but I keep on dropping them, so if I find them, I can sew them back on. But this is from Sherry Hill. I'm so jazzed. I'm so jazzed, guys. This is the brand. Look at that. If you don't know this brand, you gotta look at it. You gotta know it. I have only found this brand one other time. I found a short dress, and I sold that for, I think, $80 to $100. Sherry Hill's so expensive. A lot of her more long dresses like this will resell for over $100, sometimes well over, like sometimes $200, $300. So this is a size 6. It's 100% silk. And then it is the most gorgeously bedazzled dress you've ever seen. It's beautiful, is it not? So So nice, so pretty. And so I'm gonna have to maybe do a little bit of sewing on of the pieces that keep on dropping. This is worth probably $150 to $200, and I paid $2.40. So let me go put this somewhere safe and then I'll be back. And let me collect the jewel off the ground. Yep, so that was wild. Okay, more formal dresses. Are you ready? Are you ready for it? Ready for it? Okay, I'm gonna stop. Another jeweled, bedazzled gown. Beautiful color. It's another deep purple, full-length gown. This is so pretty. This is by the brand Flirt by Maggie Sotero. Never heard of it. Comps looked great. And also, anything that is bedazzled and jeweled like this generally tends to do really well. It's a formal, full-length gown. Stunning, stunning piece. And I grabbed it on the last day of this sale. This is a size 10 and it was $24. So $2.40 for Bekah. Very excited to get some of these pieces listed. We're heading into wedding guest season. We're heading into a time where these dresses are gonna be needed. And so I'm excited. I'm so excited about this. Okay. Y'all, is this not a good haul? If you guys are enjoying this like I am, then make sure you comment down below that you are feeling jazzed. Are you feeling jazzy, my friends? Say, I am feeling jazzy, I'm feeling jazzed, something along those lines, and I'll come by and give you a little heart. But here we go. Okay, this little dress is so fun. Like this little like gathered kind of like bubble hem dress with all of this like fun ruche detailing. This is so exciting. This is from Jessica McClintock. So I have sold Jessica McClintock and Jessica McClintock for gunny sacks many times. They always do really well for me. This one's a size 8. It was $15, so I spent $1.50 on this. And this is one of those brands I find a lot at garage sales and really always pick up this brand because I find that these kind of like vintage style little dresses are really popular right now. That's an exciting find. I'll probably be able to list that and sell it for $75 or around there. Guys, this was almost like a little fever dream. I don't remember everything I got because I was just like, put it in the cart, put it in the cart, put it in the cart. This is another dress I picked up. This is a really fun one where it has these kind of sequined jeweled sleeves and then this very interesting like draping of this velvet fabric over the top in this kind of midnight blue color. It's really beautiful, but this is another Aiden Maddox dress. So again, to find a really high quality brand, size 6, this was also $24. I paid $2.40. I hope you can get kind of the vibe of this. It really reminds me of like a Y2K style, which would do really well right now. And the combination of this is 100% silk. And then it also has this kind of band at the bottom. It's a really hard dress to show you, not like just on a person or on a rack. But I do think that this is very much so hitting that Y2K vibe that is very popular right now. So I'm assuming that hopefully we can sell that one for at least $75 to $100. Hopefully. So I'm really trying to work with the lighting that I have today and just film this for you guys, but it's a little difficult. This is just from Ann Taylor, but this is a vintage Ann Taylor cardigan. And it also has beautiful beading all the way down the front as well as on the end of the sleeve. It also has the florals continuing on the back here. This is in a size small. It was $12. I paid $1.20, but I picked this up too because it is really nice feeling. So I looked at this. It's 65% nylon, 25 Angora rabbit hair, 8% lamb's wool, and 2% lycra. So really, I can feel the Angora and the lamb's wool. Like that's what's coming through this. It's a really nicely made piece. This could be another good piece to put in my whatnot show. It is gorgeous and really high quality, kind of that quiet luxury, old money aesthetic that I really enjoy selling. And I pass on a lot of joie, but this dress I thought was really pretty. I thought this was beautiful for spring and summer. It is a tiered dress with the like kind of long sleeves, the V-neck from Joie. It's in a size extra small and it was $15. So I spent $1.50 on this, but I thought again, I picked that up for my whatnot show because I thought that I would have some people that might love it. And then the same thing kind of with this as well. This is from Everlane, but it's this little bodysuit with a little kind of like cap sleeve on it, but it is like a thong bodysuit. And this was from Everlane in a size medium, and it was $1.20. So I'm gonna put that in my next Whatnot show as well, but I thought that was a good grab for just $1. And then not too long ago in this challenge, actually, I found something else from this brand, and I've only found this maybe once or twice now, but this is from Beach Riot. And the last piece I picked up was like a blue crew neck sweatshirt. This one is more of like a tie-dye little cropped sweatshirt, but this is in a size small. It was $7, so I paid 70 cents for this, but I do think that this would be another piece that would be great on Whatnot, so I grabbed it for that. But I do think that I could also, if I wanted to picture it and list it and do all of that too, I could, and probably resell it for $25 to $35 as well. Then the last piece, I'm fairly confident I got this for Whatnot as well, and yes, I did. So this is another joie piece, which I am pretty particular with, but I thought this was a really beautiful knit sweater. I think it's really gorgeous, and this is what the joie tag looks like on the inside, and it was $1.20 for me. It's 75% acrylic and 25% wool, so it's a wool blend, really chunky, kind of beautiful knit sweater, which I thought was really cute. And then I did grab 2 hats. I forget how much these were. They don't have individual prices on these. These were just for like hats across the board. I think I went, oh, actually, no, I was wrong. Here it is. They are individual. $8 for this hat, but I got it for 80 cents. This one is a Chicago Bulls hat, and then it's also all corduroy, and I thought that it was really nice and definitely the right vibe for somebody that's really into streetwear nowadays. And then the second one is also corduroy, never been worn. It still has the cardboard on the inside. And this is from Melonwear, but it's a Cleveland Cavaliers hat. So I was hoping that maybe my husband might want this, but it was also $8. What is going on? This pricing I feel like is too high, but 80 cents for this as well. So I will see if he wants that. If not, then I will sell both of those. And I did look at comps, and I think they both can resell on their own for $25 to $35, which again, for less than $1, I did feel like was worth it. It was a very full Hulken bag. I only have these 2 bags left and a few accessories. I do feel like I did get a lot, but so many good deals and so many things that should sell for great money. Okay, so I went behind the counter and was looking through the shoes back there because nobody was looking at those shoes. They were all just looking at the shoes that were out on the floor, and none of them were great brands or in really great condition, but behind the counter, they had some nicer pairs of shoes, like this little pair of black peep toe, like pumps. These are so darling, and they look to be in really good shape. Like the bottoms are pretty impeccable, honestly, but these were size 10 and they were marked at $28. So I paid $2.80, which I felt like was worth it. But these are a pair of Stuart Weitzman shoes. And Stuart Weitzman, I've been a little bit pickier with more recently. I feel like I've been more and more picky with, but I do think because these are like a formal pair of shoes, and I do think they are black, they're navy blue or black, I really do struggle with the difference, especially on camera. I feel like it's hard to tell. I do think that I can resell these for probably 50 bucks. That's what I'm gonna hope for. I think they're gorgeous. And then you're gonna see a trend. There's a lot more of the nicer shoes that I was able to grab. These are another pair of Stuart Weitzman shoes, and these are very much so like a 90s strappy little kind of kitten heel. I think these will do really well. They are gold and they are leather, beautiful. That's what the bottoms look like. And these were a size 8.5 and they were also $28. I paid $2.80 for these, which definitely feels a lot more worth it. And I do think, again, hopefully around 50 bucks for those as well. A lot of times I'm hoping to sell things for around 50 bucks. It's kind of a general marker that I like to hit. This is the most iffy pair of shoes I got and probably the most expensive, but I got a little bit taken in by the brand, which is always my downfall. These look to be like a navy blue, like a vintage pair of pumps, kind of like a satin pump, but they are from Salvatore Ferragamo. So I know that Ferragamo too is very popular, especially amongst other countries as well, not just here in the US. These are made in Italy, and these are a size 9. And I did pay $3.50 for these, which means they wanted $35 for these. I do think that if these were a newer style, these could sell for really good money. I have sold Ferragamo boots in eBay's international program for like $300. So I do think because these are older, these might not go for as much, but they are absolutely gorgeous. And I do think that I still was probably a good idea to pick those up. And the very last pair of shoes I got, I was really excited about. They are a pair of driving loafers, and they are beautiful, kind of soft leather. They're a nice pair of black leather shoes, but these are from Tod's. I don't know if you can tell there, but there's the logo, and Tod's are super expensive and they can resell for really good money. I do think these driving shoes are gonna be really nice. These are a size 35.5, so they're a little bit small, but size 35.5 is probably close to a size 6 in women's, but these were $35. I paid $3.50 for these. And if they were in better shape, I would say these would resell for even more, but I'm gonna hope for $50 to $75, and I will be grateful when and if they sell for that. So then I got a few kids items, and then I was thinking the kids items I would likely put in a whatnot show, in my next whatnot show. This is a pair of North Face pants, and all of the kids clothing, if it wasn't marked, I think they were like $1.25 or something. So I paid like maybe like 10 cents, 25 cents at the most for any of these kids items. So I got these. These are a size girls, extra small, from the North Face. Little like snow pants. Are you joking? These are so nice. I bet I could resell those myself or put them on whatnot and still make 20 bucks or so around there for them. And then I also grabbed a few random pieces. This is another North Face piece. This is what I was thinking about taking straight to the North Face Renewed program. It is this North Face like bear t-shirt, and they'll give me 10 bucks for this right off the bat. So either 10 cents or 25 cents into $10 without having to do any work other than just taking with everything else I have for the North Face is great. I could do the same thing with those pants, but I do think the pants probably are worth more than $10. I got this really cute Haven Girl size 7 little tutu skirt in yellow that I thought would be darling to put in my whatnot show, as well as this Chaser shirt, which Chaser I haven't picked up to resell myself for like women's clothing, but I thought it was a really cute little kind of like animal print shirt for a little girl. Even with that skirt would be cute. I also picked up this Puma sweatshirt in a girl's size 6X. I loved the colors of this. I thought that was really adorable. And then the very last piece I picked up in the kids section was this Cat and Jack little quilted jacket. I thought this was so darling with the little pink florals, the yellow, kind of mustard yellow poking out. It's just from Cat and Jack, which is Target, but size 6X. I really liked that jacket. I thought that was adorable. And then I have 4 accessories, and that's it. Whew, that's it, I say, after showing you guys like a million things. This is $100. Y'all, I can't even buy one sweatshirt from Aloe Yoga for $100. And this gave me like a year's worth of work, it feels like. Just kidding, not that long, but you know. Okay, so the first thing I picked up, a pair of ladies like day gloves. Are these not so adorable with the little bows? And they're teal. These are like a stinking classy lady could wear these, and these are also 100% leather, so these are nice. These were, let's see, $8, so I paid 80 cents for these, and they, or maybe I paid, were these 75% off? These might have been 75% off. Either way, I paid less than $1 probably, but these are 100% leather. The lining is 50% cashmere, 50% wool. They're a size women's small, which I mean, I am 5'11". These are not gonna fit my hands, but I do think that these hopefully are gonna be worth at least $25, $35. I mean, it's leather and cashmere gloves. Definitely not the right season for it, but what can you do? You take what you can get. Then behind the counter, the very last things I picked up were these wallets. So I did pay a little bit more for these. I'm gonna have to get out my calculator. 90% off is easy to do in the head. 75% off is a little bit tougher for me to do on the fly. The very first one here was $18, and this is what it looks like. I did decide it was still worth it to grab this, but it's a Brighton little wallet, which I thought was super nice. It has tons of card holders, has a nice amount of space in here, and then the Brighton logo is down there on the edge. So I paid $4.50 for that, but I assumed I could sell it for at least $20, $25, maybe even more, probably 30 to 50. I was thinking about putting that in a whatnot show. Then this piece, I was thinking about saving for myself because I've been wanting a little bit larger of a wallet to take with me when I'm thrifting. I usually just have like a little card holder, but sometimes it'd be nice to have the little card holder have some cash. So I thought it might be good to keep this for myself, to put some cash in here and my cards up here and still have it be small enough to put in a belt bag, which is what I usually wear when I'm thrifting. This was $35 there though, so let's do a quick math. 35 times 0.25 is $8.75. So if I decide to keep this for myself, I'll add the $8.75 back into the challenge bank. I do think it could be helpful. It's like a very cute wallet. I mean, I could just use it for a little bit and then resell it later. I'll probably end up doing that. And then the very last piece that I picked up was another Brighton little card holder. And this has the little heart cut out for the ID. I think that's really cute. But yeah, and then it has the little heart pole as well. That's darling. And this was $6, so I paid $1.50 for this. Again, I think I'm gonna put both Brighton pieces into the Whatnot show. So I have lots of things, hopefully taking off my plate. By putting them in the Whatnot show, I'll be able to run them quickly the next time I do that show. And then I will list myself quite a few, all of the formal pieces, things like that, I'll list myself, and the shoes. So I do have quite a bit of work ahead of me, but like the Sherry Hill dress, 2 pairs of leather, a Goldie pants, the very first thing, the Double D Ranch piece, I really think that spending $100 today was well worth it, as long as I can really get moving and grooving on listing these pieces. Wowzers. So what a day. We did a lot of work, and now I gotta get all these bad boys pictured. Here is how much money we have in the challenge bank right now. Next week, I will catch up with you guys, tell you guys everything that's sold, and we'll go thrifting again. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Bye.